welcome again on board of the new sailing. Continuing my constructed playtest sessions brought to you by boardbrew.com. I'm still on the Pulsa, and this time around it's Abzan Megamorph, the deck that has been quite on the rise lately for people searching a different flavor of aggressive mid-rangey deck. And to the right side of your screen is GWr Devotion with a bit of a splash for red. So I started first fetching Forest, Plain and Elvish Mystic with a mountain and 4 wooded foothills and 4 carotids. The red splash is not really that tough. So my opponent just went on for Temple Melody on turn 1. The fact that I can go really high on top of him and I have mana acceleration with mana dorks is really the biggest advantage of green devotion decks over any other form of mid-range deck in standard right now. So I followed up the Mystic with a Voyaging Satyr and the green-white temple. Really going quite far ahead. So he was trying to slow me down a little bit by ultimate pricing my Satyr. And I had a classic turn 3 Polychronus on the play. Even though both decks have the Deathless Raptor Raptor-Protector package, but I have way more threats, and even though Abzan has quite a big suite of removal, including sideboard, so but it's really hard to keep up with so many threats from green-white devotion deck. So that was a bit of quick editing, removing a small fragment with bad quality. So what happened is that I just cast a face down Raptor-Protector and had 2 mana up to bring back Polychronus or something in case he'll go for removal. He went for Rhino after the Courser. One thing how this build differs from the deck which I mentioned before in my friend's article, he basically went into top 4 at one of the regional PTQs and got himself a trip to Vancouver with green-white devotion just a couple of weeks ago or something like that. And he had 2 Arbor Colossus in main deck, and it was advocated that he should have played the 3rd one in the sideboard. But then I took this deck for a PPTQ and I just didn't like them. They were dying to everything, and I wanted not just a good blocker but some more interaction, even though Arbor Colossus has to devotion so much. So here at the end of turn I just brought back a fetchland so that I would have enough mana to do funky stuff. Compared to the list my teammate played at regional PTQ, I swapped those 2 Arbor Colossus and while at the PPTQ I had the third one in the sideboard. Here I replaced that with two Ugins and one Atarka in the sideboard and one in the main deck instead of the fourth Master of the Unseen. I will be linking my teammates' tournament reports in the description below. So here he just took a bunch of damage from a Raptor-Protector and Polychronus, pushing him down to 10 life. I'm at 15. I just cast a Whisperwood Elemental, and I think I had both Dragonlord Atarka and the Nugan in hand. So yeah, I'm overboard in here, and chaining Den Protectors into Raptors wouldn't really save him that much here. So typical showcase of Green Devotion going on top of most of mid-range decks. Although I found it rather crazy playing this deck against Abzan Megamorph with 2 drops and more removal and just more proactive game plan, because they would just have threats earlier than I do, kill some of my mana dorks or Flotsys away some of my big threats, and kill pretty much everything I play in terms of some breaks and bad creatures, and then just trample me with any of the early creatures. It's pretty weird. So originally for the PPTQ and for this deck I wanted to maybe try out a couple of Elspeths in main deck of the Green Devotion deck, because I've seen a bunch of deck lists which were in the top 8 of when regional PTQ in Düsseldorf in Germany. There were lots of green decks in that top 8, and I think 2 or 3 green-white decks, and they were all playing Elspeths, I think. So, but then again I realized that the deck is kind of weak to tokens a bit, and Elspeth in particular, and sometimes you just want to kill a bunch of small creatures from Abzan Megamorph. So Ugin, although costs 2 more mana than Elspeth, but answers opponent's Elspeth pretty nicely, so you can just activate it for 0 and get rid of like all the tokens. And I feel like it's also better against Esper than Elspeth, even though it's more expensive, but it can kill both Ojutai and Silumgar. So here I just cast Atarka thanks to a bunch of green mana from Nexus, killed his Rhino and bashed with everybody. So it really looked like there was no way he was going back into this game. Plus I still had an Ugin in my hand. So here I was debating whether it made any sense whatsoever to attack with the Mystic, but then I quickly realized that with just 1 card Ugin in hand, I was able to just use Monstrosity on the Polychronus for 1 if I really wanted to deal that damage. So he decided just to block Megamorph, well, Manifest actually, and I believe that was just a land or Genesis Hydra. Yeah, I think it was a Hydra. Well, you'll see in a bit. So he blocked that and blocked Polychronus. Yeah, that was Genesis Hydra. And he was taking a bunch of damage, and Atarka has trample, so yeah, that's how you basically win mid-range matchups with draws like that. But it's not all the time you get to hit like Mystic into another mana dork, and then such a good density of big threats. He was just down to 5. Well, then gained the life from a Courser, but he needed so many blockers here. He needed like infinite amount of Raptors here to do something. And the Ugin main deck is actually not that terrible in this deck. People were running it in green white for some time at some point, because you have all those manifests and now morph creatures, so it's rather okayish. It's never really a dead draw. So yeah, he downfalled the Atarka and played the Raptor, which is solid thing to do. See, it's not only that I had Ugin, but I had still too many threats in play. So yeah, as we wanted a quick matchup, so we went straight to sideboarding. I took out all 3 Voyage Initiators, took out 1 Mastery, because even though it's okay, but not amazing in this matchup. Cutting 1 seemed okay because I was bringing a few much better cards. It felt like 2 Dromoka's Command, 1 AC, 1 Xenagos, even though I have 2 of each in the sideboard, and the second Atarka. Meanwhile, he took out Thoughtseize. No, he took out Bileblood because it's not killing that many threats. He took out Sorin. He thought of that at first, but it wasn't absolutely a worse card. Took out 1 Courser at first and 1 Protector, just to get more discard and more removal. Then I quickly corrected him that Duress is kind of worse than having Thoughtseize in your deck. Ultimate Price and Crux of Fate were pretty much no-brainers. So here you see me debating for a while. Maybe I wanted a second Xenagos or a second Nisa and Courser, even though it's a very good card. What I felt like this matchup was more about resilient threats and interaction and disruption. It's awesome, but it's not the best card. So yeah, actually that's how he boarded in, which is a bit strange. I probably should have advised him to not bring in Duress, because it's a lousy card. It takes out a few very big things away from me, but I didn't really like it. So creature centric. Yeah. Maybe he could have kept another Protector, something like that. To buy more removals. Well, just 1 lander from him and very bad curve. So he decided to ship it, especially on the play. On the draw, I think it wasn't the worst hand you could ever keep. In the meantime, my hand was okay, even though there was a plains, but there was a green fetch and a mystic and some other action, so felt rather fine. And he was starting and mulling down to 6, so I'd have quite some card advantage. Temple of Silence, scry the land to the bottom. My turn is really straightforward, just to fetch into Forest into Mystic. Passing the turn. Another Temple of Silence. I think he's cried another land to the bottom. I'll untap, drew for the turn. Because I didn't have a 2 or 3 drop here actually. So I went with a Temple and attacked with a Mystic. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think with more land, I think it was a Courser, and I had already more lands in play. Now he casts his Durus, which may be not absolutely terrible, because I boarded in some Planeswalkers and commands, and he boarded in just one and got lucky to cut the Xanagas, which I really wanted to play last turn. So it's good that I kept the Courser on top of my deck last turn with the Temple. So I played it. I was actually fine seeing the Raptor-Protector on top, because I would be able to cast it and flip it next turn. So yeah, just the Nexus, gained the life, passed the turn. Still quite far ahead, even though he was at 4 mana. Draining for 3 with the Rhino. Wasn't really afraid to see that at all. With such draws. Genesis Hydra on top. Because I already had 1 in my hand, so I blocked the fetch land here, so that I would go up to 5 in order to cast the Whisperwood and really pull ahead. I had enough green, and the build wasn't playing Arbor Colossus anymore, so I grabbed the Mountain to help cast another Xanagas or Atarka. So I manifested on the turn the Whisperwood, showed him a Master of the Unseen on top. So at this point, I don't know what would have really helped him. Even Crux of Fate wouldn't be that great here, because the Whisperwood is already out. So he was once again in a really rough spot. Plus he had pretty slow draw this game. So this position really... I basically saw a second Durus in his hands, so he actually brought a second one in. I think he had a 1 main deck. Anyways, thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this and learned a few lessons and learned a bit more about some new archetypes for yourself. So until next sailing, thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to comment on anything. See you next time. Bye.